All right, so I feel like this is one of the more crucial areas. It's not really a talked about topic in a way that's like really effective. Oh, I got my Jewish study stuff here. Um, Sorry for anyone who's not interested in religion or is offended by religious discussions. That was not intentional. Um, I just was being I was just being sloppy. So um, let me just minimize this so this is easier to look at and stuff. So this topic is kind of controversial here because it has a codified reference of just not really being referenced at all, and I think that has to do a lot with the um, more sinister forces that that some of the sinister forces that make up some of the forces that govern the United States and maybe even the wider world and stuff. But I don't pretend to know everything about other cultures around the world, though I am versed in them. Um, However, I haven't really specialized, I haven't done enough specialized study in that area and stuff. Um, Though it would be interesting to understand how the different haplogroups and ethnocultural groups and ethno-linguistic groups and families and there's different psychographics behave and stuff. I feel that's very important to understand for addressing matters in the United States because of that disagreement between the flow of the flow or order of politics and economics, um, and the flow of culture as well. Um, all three of those need to should try to line up as best as possible and stuff in a way that's flexibly stable and stuff. So with some variance expected. That would be the best way to do it and stuff, and then the variance can be addressed in a way that um, kind of lets the energies express themselves as they should, um, as much as realistically possible stuff. But that's 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 another branch of discussion. I want to keep this focused and on topic. So um, the reasons why people come to take adverse actions against each other when it wouldn't be professionally appropriate or wouldn't be reasonable, or why people come to resent each other and squabble and stuff and fight, it aren't very clearly expressed. But it, but I've been um, like it, I've done a good amount of effort in watching people and learning and studying them, um, to shed some light on some of the things that do it. And you'd be surprised at the how many things actually uh, cause this. But yeah, let's get into it. So uh, let's where's okay, there we go. So why people needlessly squabble and try to mess each other up. Just putting it for the plain meaning, the vernacular meaning and stuff, because um, we're in a period of scarcities and stuff, and the scarcity is really creating some tension. Um, People are a lot of people eyeing the same thing and wanting to fight, and that happens all the time. Competition does get out of hand. So yeah, here we go. Um, so what's my premise for this? Not every intrapersonal circumstance is about codes of averse action and stuff or penal codes and stuff. The law manifests only as it is carried out and stuff. But in the domain of common law and stuff like that, or things in that area of dominion and stuff, including everyday life, they uh, they just what determines how they manifest is how people carry it out and stuff. That is the logically deterministic way of looking at it and stuff. Um, just keeping the name respective to the content here. Um, so now it's about So yeah, so now it's about the codes of the culture, how people react in speech and action, etc., depending on whether you have said or done something positive or not, and a common method of communication. Almost everyone has their boiling points. When people do not get to do or have what they like, they try to fight that little moment of microdepression with anger because they're trying to get out of a semblance with a precarious position. Um, yeah, that denial, that wanting and stuff, it gives a semblance of starvation, of the end of the end of the home and stuff like that. It really puts people in an uneasy position, um, because not everybody regulates their emotions in that circumstance. Not everyone uses stabilizing. Yeah, um, those pharmaceutical meds, they're great to hold somebody over until the deeper, more complete cause of their condition is understood, and maybe it can be treated better. That person has a chance to kind of um, remediate into their next better character, hopefully and stuff. It's always good to have next better characters in the United States. They're always gonna do better and stuff. It's definitely gonna improve things. Um, Personal differences and stuff. Yeah, when people have a semblance of that person's different than me and stuff, that increases the likelihood of leading to conflict and stuff because it's actually, um, you know, like it's kind of like wired into our DNA as humans to look at the other tribe or the other clan and stuff, um, the other organization and want to fight them and stuff because there's only so much resources to go around and stuff and um, human beings are primates, and primates are aggressive creatures. Um, and I think what started making us aggressive was the um, the scarcity of protein was probably one of them and stuff. The 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 simians and prosimians from millions of years ago that evolved from the rodents and stuff, the rodent-like creatures. They didn't have a lot of protein, but it struck a key. The protein struck a key, you know, and um, so that kind of creates an attraction and stuff by a reward by just conditioning and stuff because that's how neural networks like in that's how nervous systems work. They work on conditioning and stuff like, oh, you do this, it's working, okay, I might try it again, but the other thing really sucks, so I have more of a reason to do this thing that just rewarded me and stuff, and then the cycle starts more or less. So there you go. Lack of a shared language and stuff. In many cultures, um, throwing them confusing language or stuff like that, gives a semblance of being distracted and stuff. It makes people's minds grab at air, and that's accosting to them. That can be offensive, um, and yeah, though it's not good to talk down to people and stuff. Like you want to just like, I mean, we'll talk about social skills another time. Social skills is another thing. I'm working on something that's really going to teach my pupils, disciples, students, people, the people that are being coached from this channel, to um, to use effectively and stuff. Just just to make things better for themselves and everybody and stuff. They'll probably see results, like a good rate of improvement from that, and if not, they have a new experience to learn from. So there's that. So over separation. Um, yeah, when people don't know each other, it creates being unknown and it leads to fear and stuff. Um, I've had a really long day at work, and I had to take care of a lot of um, other stuff. It's very busy today, so I'm going to cut it short here, but I will pick it up in another episode. Um, yes, you can expect to have about 100 reasons why people squabble and start to fight.